mu si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bësal mu fine.
What?
Bësal mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave acts in Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Bësal mu fine. Wave, your money is yours.
Jah Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jah Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances, not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap. All in one. All for you. Tap in. Zap in.
This morning we're joined on the program by Talib Ahmed Ben Suda, the mayor of Kanifing Municipality. Now, since his election, Mayor Ben Suda has been at the forefront of efforts to modernize municipal systems, improve infrastructure, and bring greater transparency to local governance. And driven by accountability and his belief in term limits, he first publicly stated on this program that he would not serve more than 2 terms, underscoring his commitment to democratic principles. Well, we have him now this morning to explore his vision for the municipality, the challenges of urban management, his thoughts on leadership and community development in the Gambia, especially now that his presidential ambitions are an open secret. Mayor Ben Suda, welcome back to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Good to have you.
I appreciate it.
Looking back on your time as mayor, what do you consider your proudest achievement and why?
Over the 7 years I've been mayor, I would say my proudest achievement would be institutional reform. I mean, it's an open secret. KMC was a political platform. It was used to project political power, and we were able to remove the culture of having politics practiced in KMC, meaning partisan politics. We were able to build a professional culture, a service-driven culture, and this is, for the most part, why we could achieve some of the many projects we have achieved. And what we expect is that, now that staff are performance-driven, they're looking at KPIs, monitoring and evaluation, that culture of delivery continues.
Mm-hmm. Your critics insist it's more political in KMC today than ever was.
Well, those are just blank statements. I would challenge them to pinpoint what is political about KMC. There's no AI companies that come there sitting around. There's no attire views that are, around there. The council's money is not used for political purposes. And we have now 3 different political parties. I think there's always been 3 different political parties, and we've been there in harmony. There's no discrimination happening against other parties. People freely wear political paraphernalia of any party they support. So I would highly doubt any opponent who makes that claim could pinpoint to concrete evidence.
We'll come to your political ambitions specifically later on, but people could point to the fact that since you announced the formation of your UMC movement, quite a number of councillors have moved with you.
Yeah.
So that they would say underlines the political nature of the council all along under your watch.
No, well, that is more of points of view. I did not push or challenge or condition any councillor to follow me. In fact, when I had a meeting with the UDP councillors, what I had said was, I am moving. Every politician is elected by a constituent. If you feel like you want to move with me, consider your constituents. 9 moved, 7 stayed. Sorry, 9 moved, 6 stayed. So basically it was a personal choice for everybody. I actually had a meeting with the UDP councillors who decided to stay last week to just express my sentiments that nothing has changed between us and they should not think that they would be marginalized just because they decided to stay in UDP.
Mm-hmm. We started out talking about institutional reform. Which initiative do you believe had the most lasting impact of all the reforms you brought?
The most lasting impact, I believe, is the introduction of a staff audit and a staff service scheme. I think that brought sanitation to the, of course, the redundancies, the overstaffing issues, round pegs in square holes, and of course, square pegs in round holes, and of course, it gave some direction to many staff as to what is their TORs, what is the expectations, and we were able to do appraisals, etc. So I think it created a culture of performance, working towards targets, and which is of course aligned to the vision for the municipality.
Mm-hmm. And how serious was overstaffing? Sorry.
It was quite serious. I think there was a discovery of several ghost workers. There was a discovery of staff that were being paid but didn't come to work as well. Of course, staff that did not work the whole day. They would work 2-3 hours and go home. So there was a lot of issues revolving staffs. And of course, there was people who received salaries who did not work at KMC. So all of those discoveries were made and corrected. Mm-hmm.
And how did you navigate the tension between innovation and bureaucracy in a system adverse to change?
Well, it's still heavily bureaucratic, and it's more of legislative changes that are required. The mayors must have executive control. These are all challenges that impede on our ability to bring total reform. But, it's about being bullish, about, being very stern and firm on moving the administration to a delivery-based institution. So we find that, there's a lot of red tape in Gambian government overall, limited digitalization, and of course there's too much interface, there's too much, people-to-people transactions. The more you can limit the steps it takes for somebody, for example, to pay their rates, the more you reduce the amount of interaction between the community and members of staff. I think the more you can be efficient and effective in delivery.
It's a criticism, you have leveled consistently that, local governments need more empowerment. Yeah. Why has it been difficult to achieve this in the 7, to 8 years you've been in power with the other, chairmen and Mayor Lowe in Banjul?
Well, it's been difficult. If you reverse back to even the Commission of Inquiry, the first letter I gave them was a combined letter from all area council chairmen and mayors requesting certain laws be amended. And one of them was to remove the Unified Local Government Service Commission to allow councils to directly hire their own staff, especially the mayor to hire its directors and CEOs, and the ability to also get rid of them if they're not performing. So that letter fell on deaf ears. Basically, the response was the government was looking towards a 2020 constitutional reform, and some of these perspectives would be considered. That never happened. I personally wrote to the Local Government Select Committee of Parliament requesting the same reforms. Also, there was no success there. So, we decided to go to court. You could remember the court case, Talib Ben Suda and 53 others versus the Gambia government, which targeted 4 areas, and one of them was the interim management committee, wherein councils were dissolved 3 months before elections, and the president would appoint an interim administration to oversee the council, thereby removing the council's incumbency advantage. So basically, I think it's all about control, it's all about power. Government is unwilling to devolve power and decentralize governance, and this is basically the struggle.
Why is government refusing to do that?
I think the instinct of people in charge or people with power is to accumulate power, not to give it away. Secondly, of course, partisan politics plays a role. The UDP divided with President Barrow. NPP was formed. They also wanted to have control in these area councils, especially where there's opposition mayors and councillors. And they were unwilling to do anything they believed would give us an advantage in the upcoming elections.
Mm-hmm. You faced criticism over waste management and even urban planning. What do you wish you had done differently?
Well, I wouldn't say I wished I had done anything differently. I just wish the direction of the country and politics in general was different. I think we made unprecedented strides in waste management, and that is copied by other area councils. I believe we've made massive improvements to dumping and waste processing, although we are very far off where we need to be as a country. But I think generally what has derailed the project of KMC and my aspirations is the turbulence in politics, the separation of Barrow and UDP that created a lot of chaos and a resistance by local government ministry to work and complement council's efforts. Then of course the post-election battles between KMC and the government that brought about a ministerial commission of inquiry and later a presidential commission of inquiry that has disrupted councils for 5 years. So I think there's a lot of derailment that has happened. But within all this, turbulence, we have delivered massive projects. In waste management, we brought about the unprecedented ballot project. A lot of criticism when it started, a lot of skepticism, but we delivered. It's paid for. We have 30 trucks, and we have more trucks than all the area councils combined. Now some are copying the same financial model and the same buying from the same vendor. You look at the processing of waste in Bakote dump site. We were able to fence it, create a green zone, create access roads. We were able to build 2 recycling sheds and bring miniature level recycling. And with that, we were able to also apply for a European Investment Bank project to the tune of 48 million euros. That should start in 2027. And part of it is a 3 million euro component to reclaim and close the Bakote dump site and to create engineered landfill in Tamanna, Birkama, and to create biodigesters in both Abuko and Banjul, and transfer stations, and even more trucks for waste collection. These are all projects that are pioneered by KMC. We delivered 12,000 waste bins to households. We planted 190,000 trees for carbon capture in the Tambi wetlands, which would plant 190,000 mangroves. That is done. So I think we've made humongous strides in waste management, and this was all done within my first 3 years of office. So I think we have done what we could in the climate.
Mm-hmm. You bring up 3 things: the ballot trucks, the Bakote dump site, and the EU funds.
Yeah.
The ballot trucks, yes, far more trucks than any municipality in the history of this country. Yeah. But your critics say it has come at a heavy price to the taxpayer. On the issue of Bakote dump site, we just had, is it the Manjai Kunda support pressure group demonstrate last week. And on the EU funds, the critics say they haven't been judiciously spent. So starting with the ballot trucks, the number and the price at which they were acquired to the Bakote dump site, that yes, you may have fenced it off, but the historical problems still persist. People who live around the area are still suffering from asthma and what have you, and the EU funds not being judiciously spent.
Right. So on the ballot trucks, I think there was a special investigation in 2019 by the OP. There was also a special inspection by the ministry in 2021, and lately the Commission of Inquiry, which went into detail and scrutinized it and even invited the proprietor, Mr. Jah, and there was nothing found. We were very effective in sourcing for the trucks. We went through all the procurement processes, and we sourced based on what was available, and it's the best. And out of all the councils that bought, KMC bought it for the cheapest because we negotiated to bring the price down, and secondly, when we bought it, the dollar was a lot less. So, I think the Mbalit trucks, of course, the size of the project, the scale scared, the opponents at the time. They thought it was a huge political win. Before that, there was very limited waste collected in the municipality, about 4%. It rose to 70%, which is about 500 tons of waste daily. That would have otherwise made it to the riverine areas, gutters, the community dump sites. So I think there's not much to say in that area. Our challenge now is sustainability, management, ensuring that the trucks last for at least 10 years. And of course, future councils should have a plan for replacement. So right now we have a contract to rehabilitate all 21 initial Mbalit trucks with Espas Motors, and it started. Now on the issue of the dump site,
but not necessarily arresting, the initial,
right.
So let me say the historic health problems.
Right. So I think there's been massive, unprecedented improvement in the dump site, and I remind listeners, KMC has the only organized dump site in this country with a 1.8 kilometer fence. There's no dump site that is fenced in the Gambia. It's usually open spaces. It's the only dump site with recycling sheds, only dump site with toilet facilities for the workers, concrete roads for access, and only dump site that is dressed 10 days out of every month. Dressed meaning that it is bulldozed and compacted and organized. And this ensures that the smell that usually would have affected the community was reduced. And also it, of course, prevents mosquitoes to lay larvae and, reproduce, and that would affect malaria cases in the surrounding community. So all of these things are marked improvements. Secondly, you look at the fires that used to erupt there every year, and the dump site would, burn for months upon months. And that, of course, would aggravate respiratory issues in the community, and they couldn't live there during those times. So all of these things are history. I mean, so if you interview the average Manjai Kunda, Dipakunda, and Bakote Kunda people, they will tell you. We don't know what other people are talking about, but we know what the dump site was and what it is today. Of course, we want to graduate from having dump sites in this country, but that is more of a national issue. Although we have initiated a project from KMC that is now successful, and we met with the Ministry of Finance, Lands, and other area councils, and government demanded that the EU either hand the project to them or it couldn't be approved by them. And I was consulted as KMC being the promoter of the project, and I said, look, this is for Gambia. We are not interested with political points. You can let them have it. And this is actually what happened. So now it's being led by the Ministry of Finance, and it should start in 2027. Now,
to achieve what?
So
when it starts eventually?
So this project is a 48 million euro project. It's a comprehensive waste.
Do you think government took it away from the KMC on account of the size of the the purse?
Well, there's many arguments, but I think it's about presentation. If government says, okay, because of the size, because of we take it from we want it from KMC, that is one thing. But if you condition donors, that's another thing. But for us, we're not interested.
You've let it go. You could be supervising it in 2027.
We will be supervising it in 2027.
Oh, it's not good. You will be. All right.
So basically, the beneficiaries are the Gambians, so that's what matters. It doesn't matter who implements. The people who will benefit are Gambians, and the people who will benefit most are the residents of around Backwater dump site. So for us, it's a win anyway. And we initiated in the original document. The promoter of the project is listed as KMC. Mm-hmm. So those EU funds are not yet here. But they should start this year, and the dump site closure should start in 2027, according to the...
So when the dump site is closed, where will you be, disposing of the waste generated by the municipality? I want to believe that we are the most waste-generating municipality across the country.
For two reasons. One, per capita, we are richer than other municipalities, and waste is directly related to wealth and incomes. Secondly, also, we are the most densely populated municipality. So waste per square meter is much higher than the national average.
Okay, so where will you be taking all this waste then?
Yeah, so
because it's still your responsibility until the elections come around.
Of course. So, well, the dump site closure starts post-election in 2027.
Okay.
But in the project components, there's biodigesters. So the biodigesters are basically for organic waste. There's one going to be situated in Abuko and one going to be situated in around Denton Bridge on the way to Banjul. So these are for organic waste. There should be transfer stations at those biodigesters, meaning things that cannot be composted will be then transferred to Tambana. Tambana will be turned into a landfill as opposed to a dump site. So that is in the Birkama area. So that is all part of this project.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so those monies from the EU are yet to be here, but monies have been received from the EU for which the council has been criticized.
Oh, do you mean
for not using it judiciously? Yes. Is
so,
it the
KETP. Yeah, so the KETP is a €3 million project. It's concluding 25th December. 25th November, actually in 10 days.
Oh, in 10 days' time.
Yeah,
so in 8 days' time.
In 8
next
days'
Thursday.
time. So
next Monday.
As per the project components, there's only one component left, which is the finishing of the Bakote Park. So there were 6 parks in the project. Bakote Park is the last one. That is the last project being implemented. Even if you look across from West Coast Radio, you see the Kotu Park, and you see the gym has just been installed. I was just passing and seeing it for the first time. And
people thought you were installing it for yourself.
Exactly, and now I've moved. I've never played there. I used to run there in the morning, So the library was part of that project. I don't know if you've visited the library.
Not yet.
I was there 2 weeks ago. It was jam-packed with students studying. To the point now they're using the outdoor premises where the lawn is. There's an internet cafe, server room, there's a repair cafe, and if you have a broken ironing machine, you can take it there for free and they repair it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there was a book launch. My book was launched there at the theater room. So there's a virtual room. So it's a state-of-the-art library. Every time I pass, I'm so proud. Just the facade, the edifice. And part of the project, of course, was our installing of our radio, which still we haven't been issued a license, but it's been online. If you go to our KMC Facebook page, it's been broadcasting programs.
Yeah, but the moratorium has been lifted on radio licenses. What's the problem still with the KMC radio?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm there. Maybe after I'm gone, they'll give the license.
Okay. We'll ask the minister responsible.
You should ask
he's coming tomorrow on the
every
program.
Every day, it's a new excuse. But what we've done is we've just said, look, we can't keep going back and forth with these people. We'll just go online. We have 39,000 followers on our KMC page. And we will keep communicating our projects, our programs. And, initially they thought we'd use it for political programs, but it's been 2 years. There's no political programs held on the radio. So basically these are the several components of the KETP which are delivered. So when I was at the Commission of Inquiry and the lead counsel asked me, when did this KETP start? And I was like, I cannot remember whether it was 2021 or 2020. Opponents took that comment and say, oh, you see, the money is missing. He can't even remember when it was implemented. Then they started creating these propaganda stories. But basically, this is EU money. It's not Gambia government money. It's not taxpayer money. So therefore, the EU are very interested and would make sure that these funds are accounted for. So we have already implemented 97%, and by the 25th, we'll hand over this project.